on the streets of southern Mexico in a place called Tapachula, which was one of the first story I ever did for Current TV, for the American television station, was actually about the death train. You've heard about the death train. It's a cargo train that goes from southern Mexico to the northern Mexico, and people, desperate migrants, board this train or hop onto this train. They fall off the train. Yes. They lose arms and limbs. And Darren and I, it was the first story we did for Current TV. We went down there. We actually went on the freight train ourselves, filmed a group of migrants, a woman, Maria, I'll never forget her, and 4 women that she was traveling with, and a kid who we met in a amputee shelter. He had lost his arm. His name is Guillermo from Honduras, had lost his arm. And the day that we're filming Maria going on the freight train, we see Guillermo coming and jumping on the train. He's going to try it one more time with his little brother, even though he'd lost his own arm. So this should tell you enough about how desperate the situation is in their home country, that they're trying so desperately to make it to the United States, right? Maria had kids that she couldn't feed. She was desperate. She knew that there was high risk of her being raped and possibly killed on the road, but she was like, I have to do this for my children. I cannot afford to feed them. I have to figure out a way to get to America. And so Tapachula, back to this story on King Coyote, we traveled back to Tapachula, and the death train is no longer operating. So now what we saw instead, this was a year and a half, 2 years ago, was hundreds and hundreds of people on the public main large square, hundreds of Venezuelans, Haitians, Colombians, people from Brazilians, from all over the world that couldn't afford paying King Coyote the $10,000. So they're stuck in this situation where in order to be able to leave, they have to pay the local authorities money. So they actually pay Border Patrol and Mexican police. They have to pay them in order to leave. But then at every checkpoint, they would have to pay, and they can't afford it. They can't pay King Coyote. They can't go back to their countries. And the whole system is profiting from them, right? The police, the local governments, the Border Patrol, the King Coyotes of this world, they're all profiting from this. No one wants them to leave because they can make a lot of money from these people, right? So it's an exploitation. We're essentially exploiting the most vulnerable people in the world. And then you have politicians in America that are doing the exact same thing, right? Exploiting them and exploiting this issue and calling these people the worst scum of the world, people who want to come to America to denigrate this land and to, create violence and kill. And that is just not the case for 90% or 99% of the migrants that I have encountered.
That's right.
That I have encountered. And I have spent a lot of time with these people. And yes, are there bad people, horrible people also trying to come across? There are. Where are the majority of drug trafficking happening? Not in the deserts where these migrants come across. It's happening at legal ports of entry. That's where the vast majority of drugs come across. Legal port of entry, by the way, moved in by American citizens, not by immigrants, by American citizens. So it's on all sides, this issue, and these people that are the most vulnerable, the most, definitely the people that didn't win the lottery, and that are fleeing poverty and persecution and violence, and that all they're trying to do is to protect their loved ones and their children. Where 100%, I would do the exact same thing as if I was in their shoes. 100%.
Yes, the incentive.